Hi everyone, here's Mr. Ben, aka Midlife, here to say hello. Actually searching for a treat that I don't have yet. Say hi. I just wanted to very quickly say hi and thanks for all of the support that our rescue guys are receiving. The outpouring of support and help has been amazing, and we do thank you so much. These horses are truly worth it. They're worth every little bit that we're putting into them, yeah, they're amazing, amazing boys for sure, for all that they've gone through, to be so forgiving and so lovely to work around. We've had our share of bumps in the road for sure already. Today we're on day 13, I believe. Anyway, and we're doing well. Some weight gain for sure on Ben's behalf. I mean my own as well, but that was mostly stress eating chocolate before they arrived. Anyway, it's almost Easter. It's fine. But I just wanted to very quickly go over, and I'll see if I can see it in this light. It's a little tricky. As everyone might know, Ben has been treated for lice. So we've had our first treatment, and then we do have a repeat treatment 10 to 14 days after the first one. So that'll be early next week. We'll be doing that. Hello. So as far as the lice goes, this is something that Ben would have had for quite a while, probably picked it up in the kill pen, and has had them at the quarantine facility while he's been there. But lice go through different life stages, and there are some life stages that you can't really see. The nits, like the eggs in the hair, you can't really see it. It just looks like dandruff. And I mean, these guys were so hairy and so shedding so much when they arrived that, I mean, I missed it for the first few days as well, until after being blanketed for a few days and being warmer and having that core temperature raise up, and getting some good nutrition in, the lice hatched out. So the next life stage hatched out, which gave us some larvae, which move around a little bit, and there were a couple of adults actually on him as well. And that's first what I noticed when I was grooming him one night. So I'll try and show you the exact patch where I noticed them, because it is the worst patch on him. This is his mane here. There's his lovely freeze brand. And this is the worst patch of skin where he had actually rubbed it raw. He had rubbed it on our hay feeders because we have the covered feeders. So that was, I knew he was itchy because he was rubbing it. And then that's the patch actually where I found a couple of adult lice. And they were just, they're chewing lice on him. There are two types of lice, chewing lice and sucking lice. And this was just chewing lice. Can identify them by their body shape. But they were moving around a little bit and gave me the heebie-jeebies for the rest of the night. So he was treated that night, and he'll be treated again, like I said, early next week. But lice, unfortunately, and the treatment for lice does come with some side effects as far as hair loss. So he's had patchy hair loss because of the lice, but now after the treatment as well, we have a fair bit of total hair loss. This is where his auction tag was, so that part is because of the auction tag being ripped off in the glue. But we've got, it's hard to see, but we've got patchy hair loss kind of all along here. And when I'm grooming him, his hair actually does come right out. He is shedding as well, so it is hard to kind of gauge. The other side might show us a little bit more just in the light, so let me see. But it's, he's got a lot of hair loss, and he's pretty much bald on the side of his back. Like, just petting him and I'm coming off with these kind of handfuls of wispy hair. So we're dealing with it. He is being treated for it. He's a very good boy, as I've said, to do anything with. He's absolutely amazing, and very, very quiet to deal with. I've had no issues with him at all. I've been throwing a lot of stuff his way as far as meds and everything go, and he's been great. So he does appreciate everything. He appreciates molasses treats more than anything else in life. He's decided that is the reason to wake up in the morning, essentially, are molasses treats. So anyway, that's, what's going to be on his Christmas list, I'm assuming, going forward. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of the update. Sorry, the lighting in here is not great. We're looking at sunset time outside. But anyway, he wanted to make sure that his followers know that he's doing well, and is, kind of dealing with everything that's being tossed his way. And anyway, we're keeping on. He appreciates, once again, and so do I, all of the support that you guys have been giving. And we thank you so much on behalf of all of us from the bottom of our hearts. Thanks so much. Bye.
So a little update for Theo for week 2 of him being home. He's doing really well. I am so happy with his progress. We recently just started him on Previcox for his joints. He has a very stiff back end, a lot of stifle pain. His hips are actually very out of whack. Um, he's very crooked. So I'm really hoping that the chiropractics are really going to help kind of put things back where they're supposed to be for his back end and not just his neck. He's got a lot of things kind of misaligned in his body. So chiropractics are going to help with that profusely. And then the massage is going to just aid the chiropractics, I think, and just get him in a better, comfortable state. Until we can get the chiropractor in, which will be at the end of the month, he's on Previcox. We're trying a trial on that. And so far, I see like a big difference. He's like the fluidity when he moves is there. He's moving at a much smoother pace. He's still off, but it doesn't look as painful, which is super exciting. He seems happier. He is becoming more trusting, which is super exciting to see. He is accepting carrots, which he wasn't accepting at all last week. He didn't want anything to do with them, didn't want any treats at all. So he took a bite of it and then decided he liked it, and is now taking them from my hand, which is a big feat of trust. But it's also allowing us to like move on to bigger exercises to play around with his trust, I guess, if that's what you want to put it. So I'll carry carrots around the round pen, and he's not haltered, and he's following me at his own will, which is super exciting. It's showing that he kind of wants to engage. Obviously, he gets the carrots, and that's the motivator. But he's coming up to me on his own and allowing me to pet him and touch him and brush him. Which is such a good step in the right direction. So I'm super excited about that. We're going down into the barn without having any other horses in the barn, which is very scary for him. He likes to be around his herd, or a herd, any horse. So taking him away from that safe place is nerve-wracking for him. He snorts and he kind of moves like a freight train. He's a big boy, so if he wanted to take off with me, he definitely could, but he doesn't. He's very, very well mannered. And even when he pushes the boundaries, when you tell him no, he stops, he listens. So he was much more relaxed in the barn yesterday, and he let me groom him a lot more. I know the Previcox is working because I can kind of work around his back end a little bit more. Last week I couldn't. He was kicking out. Because it was not in a nasty way, but in a very just warning way that he didn't feel good. He didn't feel he didn't warning as in pain, not nasty as he was trying to hurt me. But he's doing so well. We have him on Serenity, like herbs for horses, with some valerian. He thinks he's a stud. He was last week especially was pacing the fence line constantly. He wouldn't leave the fence line because the mares were against it. Yesterday when I was out, he wasn't pacing. He paid more attention to me, and he was actually just eating his hay pretty relaxed. So I'm very, very happy. I think the Serenity is going to be a long-term thing. Because it just seems to ease his anxiety and his stud-like behavior. So super, super happy with how everything is going so far. Really looking forward to the chiropractics at the end of the month. I think it's going to work wonders, and once he feels better, we will see the true horse that he's supposed to be. It's going to take a little bit of time to get those adjustments to stick. I'm really curious to see what she says about what's going on in the spine. And then once we get chiropractics in, then massage will be next. But I just want to do one thing at a time. Getting him to stand in the barn for long periods of time to be worked on is the goal right now. His tolerance has been very low. So next week especially is going to be just getting him down into the barn, letting me groom him in the cross ties, and it being a little less scary. So that is the goal. One step at a time, one task at a time, but he's coming along so well. I'm so proud of him. He's such a good boy. So anyways, that's my update for week 2. And then we will talk next week.
this past week, Neo was in, not semi-quarantine, but he was on stall rest for a bit of a runny nose that has since cleared up. And we ended up, the vet came on Saturday to give him his shots and give him a thorough exam. Our hope had been after the exam he would be able to go out in the field with the other horses. Unfortunately, we did get some bad news at his vet exam. He has to remain on stall rest for the foreseeable future at this point. He was diagnosed with a slipped hock and 2 torn suspensories. So Google can tell you some of this, but a slipped hock is where the digital flexor tendon is dislocated from its normal position at the point of the hock, and it's slipped off to one side. So he has what's called a stable luxation, which is where the tendon has completely torn and will now stay in the position off to the one side. With it being a stable luxation, we're looking at a lot of rest and anti-inflammatories for him. With the torn suspensories, that's not a completely uncommon injury in standardbreds, especially buggy horses that have done a lot of road work. With that, it's just, again, going to be rest, treatment for anti-inflammatory, and with him, stall bandages and wraps whenever he does have turnout time to offer support to those tendons. We are very lucky. He is such a good boy, and he understands that we're trying to help him. He's very laid back. He doesn't mind all of his stall rest, especially being the only horse in the barn, even though his window does open out to the field with a couple horses, so he always has some friends. So outside of that, we are treating some mild skin issues where his tags came off and a couple other places. He just has very, very dry skin from lack of proper nutrition. So we've been treating those as we find them, but there has already been such an improvement in his coat and in his weight as well.
Fresh poop. Don't eat it. It's starting to bog down a little bit. Alright, we need 2 people to push for a minute.
So besides just the recommendations from the veterinarian around his stall rest and the bandaging of his legs when he has his outdoor time, Neo has also been, well, he's now 2 treatments into a 2 times a week, fairly aggressive program with PEMF therapy. So that's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which uses magnetics to produce an electromagnetic field, which will then penetrate through the body and acts on each cell as an individual, where each cell gets recharged, which allows it to function at its full capacity, whether to heal or recover from an injury, or especially in athletic horses. So it's a non-invasive approach to working with injuries and with athletic horses. Especially with Neo, because he still needs some more weight gain before I feel comfortable letting a massage therapist or a chiropractor touch him. This has been a way to accelerate some of the healing that otherwise we wouldn't be able to do. And it's already, like I said, he's 2 sessions in, and the results are very obvious. The swelling is definitely lessening, and his entire demeanor is changing as well as his body continues to heal and he starts to feel better. Even his therapist, Ashley, noticed a difference at the second session compared to the first one. So we are thrilled with his progress so far. We're cautiously optimistic just because of the severity of his injuries, and we have no idea how long he's been dealing with these, so we don't know just how deep the damage goes, but we will find that out in time. So I just want to say a shout out to Horse and Hound Therapies out of Northumberland County that do PEMF treatments, as well as a couple other alternative therapy offerings as well. They work on both horses and dogs, which is great. So if you're in the area, book your horse or your dog an appointment. I don't think you'll regret it. You're really going to notice a change if your horse is struggling with anything. And the same goes with massage and chiropractic as well. Just so many people that have been donating towards us being able to get these alternative therapies booked for all of these horses is so thoughtful and so generous, and we're just so grateful because a lot of these alternative therapies allow these horses to heal in ways that us as caretakers wouldn't be able, just to help them on the day-to-day.